Mate, you're watching a summit. If you weren't going to realize this, yeah, it's all about NeuroCreative Leadership Live and amazing hand-picked experts for their passion, dedication, and service to others through their own creativity and journeys in the world in their own unique way, their own unique experiences, and how that is forming a better world by understanding neurodiversity overall. And I'm really, really pleased to be um, introducing you to Suzi Payton if you have not heard of her before, or she. Yes, and so um, yeah, so I'm holding some tension on what you do and why. With the sense of, firstly, I love this question, which is if there was a favorite topic of yours that is like it's a bit like a glue for you in your life and work that kind of brings it all together for you, that's kept you going in life, that and or just fills you up when you do it. What's that favorite topic that helps you remind you of who you truly are and what and why and what you do?
I think that would have to be comedy, and mo more specifically comedy improvisation, which I've been doing for about 17 years now, and it's kind of forms the essence of my business, as well as my spare time. I do it for fun. I teach it to other people. I'm so passionate about comedy improv and the benefits it brings. It's fun, which is the top thing, but it's confidence building. It's creative. It's the most amazing thing. So that's the golden thread that runs through everything I do.
Oh, I love that. That's great to hear because yeah, they say about the laughter being so important, and we can sometimes forget to laugh so much
Yeah.
so. And I like to call it fanatical focus when we get fanatically into something, but it can be fun. Remember, it's fun. If we're focusing on something that's really hard and we're getting upset, then we remember to just step back a moment and go, okay, what could make this fun? And I love that you're doing that, and that's one of the
Oh,
reasons why how I know you as well. So thanks for being here and
yeah.
sharing
Thank
that.
you.
Um, there, there's this also this idea on um I like to call it unique wiring because when we are present to our own unique wiring and um how we may be reacting and responding to things. Uh, there's labels of neurodiversity or neurodivergence, or and not to belittle anyone's diagnoses or anything, but it's that sense of how do we honor who we are with what we've gone through without and choosing that process going forwards so that we know that we can build on what we want to build. So this idea of unique wiring and how you notice that's where you're at with your life at this time, Susie. What's your favorite self-care go-to that really helps you in this time?
Yeah, so understanding myself and ADHD and autism plus a few other things has been completely life-changing because I can really understand what I need, and honor my needs, and of course, help my challenges, and then really focus on my strengths. Because once you've got the other bits and pieces under control, then it's like, right, what, let's make use of my wonderful brain. Um, so self-care practices, um, I've had to kind of work on a lot over the years because I would always be in the kind of um burnout cycle, using up all of my energy until I crashed over and over again. And I've realized now that that's not sustainable. And it's so important for myself and my business that I am in top shape, top form. So one of my passions is using the going to the Sea Lanes outdoor swimming pool in Brighton on the seafront, and I've been a member there for over a year now, and it's become my haven because I go there 2 or 3 times a week in the morning. and it's so refreshing. It's a heated pool, but it's still pretty chilly, not as cold as the sea. But that gives me that morning light, the daylight. Most times, sometimes it's dark, but you know what I mean. And the dopamine from the cool water, the exercise, the movement. So that's been a real game changer for me. Um, Getting there as much as I can. Love it.
Oh, that's excellent. That's good to hear. Yeah, I like that. The movement and the experience, the sensory experience of it. I love like the way you've shared that, and you alluded or not alluded, maybe that's not the right word. You helped me realize something just then about, when I was thinking about helping others and coaching, where the typical standard model is get your weakness and and work it out, work out on your weaknesses. And so that's doesn't really work so well for those that have already built up a lot of upset in their systems. And so, and then coming back to like, I used to think about strengths and going, well, what's the strengths first? Do strengths first. But what you actually said there was even more fascinating. Sometimes it's like just needs,
Mm,
and to separate it down to what's the need first. And as soon as that's like basic, simple, even certain focusing on, hey, what's your superpower? Working on that can be sometimes too much as well. So appreciate you sharing that, and it's really, I just noticed that too.
thanks. Yeah, so important because if your needs aren't being met, which for many of us they haven't been for years, then it's very difficult to think about your strengths, to have hope that you can overcome your challenges or work with them. I don't think we just overcome them. Some of them we do, but yeah, we have to honor our needs, and then we can, which is a whole piece of work in itself, because if we haven't honored our needs for our whole life, then it's not a case of, and now I'm going to honor my needs. There's a lot of work to do there as well. So self-compassion is one of my big things, because without it, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Wow, brilliant. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, and that leads on really nicely to the next question, actually, which is, if there's five known or discovered powers that we have as humans in general, that it helps us to not feel judgment, or that in a natural sense, either judging self or others or circumstance, not being upset by situations. When we're in this power, even if it's for 30 seconds, it can't necessarily exist. And if that happens, then that means we can make that stronger, that particular power stronger. If it's not so well practiced, it's literally like a skill in itself. So
Mm.
I'll say these five powers, and as you listen in, uh, have have a sort of feel as to which one's landing for you. That obviously that they can blend into each other, but the one that gives you the most prominent yes, body yes to where it's helping you right now in your life with your growth and your way of being. So I'll say these words and see what comes up. So first one's empathy.
Mhm.
Then we have curiosity and creativity, navigation, and activation.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to pick one, because they're all words that really resonate with me. So empathy, curiosity, what were the others?
Creativity,
Creativity.
navigating what's truly important, where am I going, what am I accumulating now, help me get there, kind of thing. And activating being actually stopping the theory into action.
Mm. Well, I would say kind of empathy, curiosity, and creativity are kind of solid. foundations for me, that are kind of part of my everyday existence. Um, Navigation as to where I'm going. I mean, I'm a speaker and comedian, as well as a coach. So to be able to create opportunities where I can speak to people, and help them understand their neurodivergent employees. That's what I do. I go into organizations. So that's kind of where I'm going. I don't have a fixed destination because I like to keep things open and expansive as well. Um, and then activation. Yeah. Can you explain that one again to me?
Yeah, so activation is like the sense of having set a thing, like I'm gonna make a cup of tea. If you know how to make a cup of tea, then you can get into flow with it and be in action with it, and it becomes that sense of in flow with that thing. And so some people struggle potentially with the procrastination or being unclear enough, even though there's uncertainty, like you say, about, and we want to just keep things open, but having a clarity of vision strong enough to take an action through any fear of what
Mm.
could go wrong. So it's that sense of activation to be taking an action.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm continuously kind of working on and working through, kind of past trauma, um, which can hold you back in so many ways, as well as having a neurocreative brain, which is very interest based. So in that respect, I have crafted and designed my life around my interests, so that activation is easier. Saying that, it's not, it's not always easy. Being kind of, I'm a 50-year-old woman, so hormones are definitely playing their part now and trying to interfere with what I want to get done. So that comes back to the movement, the exercise, and the being conscious of what I put into my body. I no longer drink alcohol. I haven't drunk alcohol for almost 2 years after a lifetime, not almost a lifetime of using alcohol to kind of self-medicate, and yeah, overcome social anxiety. So activation is key, and it's not always easy, but I always go back to, is this aligned with what I want to be doing? Because sometimes the activation doesn't happen because it's not something I even want to do. It's just something I thought I wanted to do. So always coming back to myself, my truth. How is this serving me? How is it serving others? Are those two in alignment? If it's not serving myself, I'm not going to be able to serve others. So yeah, just being very aware of what I need. And also from day to day, moment to moment, that changes, doesn't it? Because we're evolving every second. So just being very aware, I guess.
I love that. Yeah, that's really spot on with similarities in me also stopping the drinking the last couple of years. I've got done it on and off here and there, and what you're sharing about that sense of um yeah, everything you shared was exactly what, in some ways, the self-care piece of communication, self-communication, rather than like there's that sense of um choosing what I want to do for myself, plus knowing that it's there to help others, and then choosing who I'm speaking with. So that's that sense of what's the self-talk going on, and what's the where's the talk happening and not happening,
Yeah.
and I love the bit about non-actions are actions
Mm.
in terms of meeting needs as well. I love that. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing.
that's all right.
So there's a question around to set a premise of this idea of the creativity and the leadership. This is just an insight that came to me, and so I'm putting it out there as an idea that a sense of creativity can be leadership, and leadership can be creativity. So it's bringing the two set bringing them separately just to give them a sense of opposing but complementary forces that actually bolster each other, which is the creativity being sense of openness, play, seeing what happens, going with flow, internal inquiry, all that kind of stuff, as a sense of work. And then work in leadership is the more masculine side of things, maybe and so the feminine being creativity as an idea, and masculine being just making stuff happen, choosing specifically, I'm gonna make a cup of tea right now and then go and do it, and then done, and then we're being our words as leaders then. So there's that sense of an action, but specific actions that are targeted. And so, and showing that as a role model thing and explaining ideas, that's all outward going, and then potentially inward going for the creativity as an idea, as a concept. So as you hear all of that, what would you say as in being it's being creative and leading as a creative leader in your life? What's landing for you around all of this?
Um, yeah, so for me, like you say, yeah, they kind of both go hand in hand. Because, I'm being creative every day, whether that's through writing, whether that's through comedy workshops, whether that's through coaching. So my coaching offer is unique as well because I offer one-to-one coaching plus combined with comedy improvisation skills. So to combine those two things is great because people can set their intentions. I want to be a confident speaker. Okay, great. What's holding you back? What does that look like? What's holding you back? That, and it's usually that inner critic that can get in the way before you go on stage, whilst you're on stage, after, did I say the right thing? So bringing the creativity into that with the comedy improv and helping people to tolerate and get okay with bits of discomfort and to challenge that inner critic. So that's what I teach, that's what I coach, but that's what I also practice as well, which is why I can go onto stages now and in front of hundreds of people and feel in my element rather than looking really confident and feeling terrified inside. So it's that empathy piece that you talked about earlier, like having empathy for myself and who I am, and trusting that I will I will communicate my what I want to communicate on those stages. Um, so yeah, and the creativity comes into my comedy as well because although I do stand up, I do some improv within that as well. And that's kind of the most creative thing you can do, I think, is improvise, situations. I do a one person improv, so I improv with myself, about how people met. I take two people from the audience who volunteer, of course, and I recreate them as characters. So in terms of how does that fit in with the leadership? Well, it's all tangled up together, and it's again empathy for myself because I have been a people pleaser all my life, and now I'm kind of disentangling all of that and making sure I do things that are right for me. That's why I keep talking about me because then it's right for others. Um, so yeah, being that empathetic self leader, empathetic towards myself, and of course towards my clients, and having that space for people to have conversations, which is because a lot of people are scared to have conversations around neurodiversity because they're scared of using the wrong language. So I can, in terms of leadership, create those spaces where people feel comfortable and they're not going to get told off for saying the wrong thing. Otherwise, they're not going to say anything, are they? So yeah.
Yeah, really resonated with that too. Thank you. Yeah, there's the people pleasing thing. Yeah, I've learned a lot about that over the last couple of years, specifically as well. Was a top high ranking a trait, and one thing that really started to help me was to say the people pleaser. You know, I started like referencing it as something that was a thing that it
Mm,
could be in my body or out of my body, but it was a thing, like a story that was
yeah.
encapsulated as a sentence, and it started to really that started to help a lot when yeah, when I noticed all of that and labeling it labels are important because they're snapshots in time, but the stories behind them and whether they're fixed or not is
Mm,
just as fixed as any word, you know. uh, there's that idea of the word funky. When it came out, it was more about it being it was initially a bad smell.
yeah. Yeah.
And then the music became funky because it was standing out as a bad smell or a good smell, but it was different smell. And so the different rather than bad or good came around for any word. And so words and labels can change over time, and it's like it's up to us to add that meaning. So appreciate you sharing all of that.
Mm,
Um,
thank you.
and there's there's a this idea of you like you mentioned before, knowing what your value is first before others in a lot of ways, so that you have that energy, that resources. What would you say your unique value proposition is at this current time, based on how you are, what your strengths and skills are that are creating best results in your work and life?
I think it's the ability to be bold and take those risks, combining the confidence coaching and the comedy um, to help people get the outcomes they want, whether that's to be a confident speaker, whether that's to speak up in a meeting at work, whether it's to speak up their needs in a relationship, honoring their needs. Again, it all comes back to this. So I have that creative edge with the comedy and the work I do. But not only that, I've journeyed through a lot um, throughout my life in terms of growing up, not knowing I was ADHD and autistic, which caused a lot of issues for me, which because I was and still am to a degree very high masking, nobody would have known that there was anything going on. And it did cause, some real mental health struggles as well along the way, as well as undoing all of this people pleasing, fawning stuff. That's been huge because I was abandoning myself for others left, right, and center and not even knowing it. I just thought I was a kind, super empathetic person. But there, that's not great when you're abandoning yourself and putting everybody's needs before your own. So I can hold space for people that do that, that are doing that. And pretty much every neurodivergent person I work with has had a similar experience. Not the same because, of course, we're all different. Um, so yeah, and my background is teaching, so I've always wanted to help people and pass on skills. So that's something I continue to do, but in a way that suits me. Teaching didn't suit me. I was burnt out over and over again. And my essence of who I am, the we're all different, we're all individual, and that's what makes us unique. And I think wish people more people would recognize that about themselves when they're comparing themselves to others. Like, you don't need to do that. Everyone's on a different journey. So I have a lot of wisdom to share. My talks are always well received. The way I communicate is is through humor, but not just humor. It's not all fun and games. There's serious sides to this as well. So to be able to put all of that out there, so that people receive it. And, I've written a book as well, co-written a book for late identified autistic adults. And the feedback on that and the reviews have been amazing as well. So to be able to help people is what I do, and I do it in my way. It's no better or no worse than anyone else's. It's just different. So yeah, that's what I have to say on that.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Susie, for showing up and being you and doing that work.
Mm,
I certainly relate to, I like to call it qualifications. I got qualification dyslexia at 33, and I don't have the qualifications in autism or ADHD, though it's so clear based on all the discussions we're having around all of this. So I certainly understand about that whole thing of as soon as that becomes an awareness that there is this mask, the mask is it's not just the mask. It's like there's layers to that are
mm,
absolutely essential and ones that are not essential,
mm,
and and just trying to just take it off or not take it off is like it's just not conducive to mental health, in itself, straight away. So it's that thing. It takes. It's like going, okay, I've realized I've got a guitar here and I haven't been playing it my whole life, and I want to play it. You know,
yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's amazing to hear what you're doing, and so much crossover on vision and what we're both doing. But as I say, even if we had the same words that we were saying, there'll be a different resonance,
Mm,
and how some people will be attracted to what you're saying, Susie. Some will be attracted to me, and so that's the great thing about it, is that the more conversations we have like this, the more we can um, help bolster the gap, the gift in the gap.
yeah.
Uh, and so thanks for showing up again. And what if there was
Thank you.
a sense of a call to action, um, being this wonderful word that's not just marketing term. It's literally, as leaders, we get to make sure that people know that there is an action to take or not for themselves. So there's from this leadership perspective, it's like, here's a call to action from a perspective of someone listening to it. When there is a call to action and there's a calling, but it's not being taken, what's that about? And if there's any resistance, noticing it, and all these kind of things. So breaking it down simply, like if I say, for instance, if you're watching this and you've really enjoyed it, if there's anything that's insight, as soon as you say it back out or write it, it's going to help your remembering of it and bolstering and new life-changing moments. So, in the questions, comments, likes, or highlights from what you've heard, please put them in the comments, because someone else may need to hear this as well. So it's all about sharing and caring in this world. And when we get present to that calling, and it's okay just to feel it and go, okay, well, is it a this or is it a that? Do I need to take the action, or do I need to sit with it for a bit? That's okay too. So within that idea, what, Susie, do you have as a call to action for those that are listening?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to get in touch for a call with me, if they would like to discuss any kind of coaching and comedy together, then please go to my website. It's suzipayton.com, or on LinkedIn or Facebook. Just contact me however you like. I've got lots of free resources on my website as well. If you head to the resource page on overcoming RSD, there's there's podcasts on there. There's all sorts. So do have a look at that. There's also a quick reference guide for managers for managing ADHD staff. So that's a really popular one as well. I've got a lovely book list on there as well, because I've so many books have helped me get to where I am today. Brené Brown, um, oh gosh, Eckhart Tolle, a real range of books that if you want that list, read those books. They're amazing. Yeah, get in touch if you want me to do a talk in your organization, or indeed if you would like some coaching for confidence and self-belief.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Susie, for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
Um, yeah, the whole thing around, um, yeah, you shared the, but there's a thing that was happened in my brain, and it was to do with, yeah. So yeah, all the links that and descriptions and all the speakers links and gold offers and amazing uh, connections to what they're doing is all going to be on the dashboard. I'm setting that up and building it up as we speak. We've done a lot of talks that have been popping up, and now they're all going to be in one place to watch. So there's amazing handpicked speakers, all referencing different elements of neurocreative leadership skills and ways of being. And so, uh, give us a wave for the sign up link for that, and you can watch it all to your heart's content over the next couple of weeks for free. And so yeah, that's it. That's my call to action, is just to get involved with the rest of the talks. Feedback on how we can make this move forwards better is always appreciated. The designing and putting it out there as a little taster or street buffet version of what we're doing. We can do something much more bigger and stronger and longer and more with more rigor and vigor in May. So yeah, thanks for listening and thanks for being here, Susie. Is
Thank
there
you.
is there a thing that's come up for you that you've got from this whole interview?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's been a really lovely talk. Um, just to, I think the main thing is just for people, myself included, to really hone in on what makes you unique, because, you know, comparing yourself to others doesn't help in any way whatsoever. So yeah, just looking at what you need, really important to figure out what you need and focus on what you want, not what you don't want. That's come up for
Amazing.
me. Yeah.
Love it. And what I got was this sense of whether or not it's a stage or not, it's that sense of leading with creativity and authenticity without it being like this big thing. It can be just working step by step each day on it. And so I feel like that's something we can delve into a lot more in May and do a longer talk around those two topics of if that's good for you,
Yeah,
Susie.
yeah, absolutely. And self-leadership is the thing, isn't it? Whether you're kind of a parent, whether you're in an organization, um, it's about, yeah, honoring what your wants, your needs, and your desires, and making it happen in a way for you. So being authentic to you as well, not looking at other leaders, especially a lot of leaders that we can see in our political climate. Don't look at them, you know, be the leader you're meant to be, the ethical and empathic leader. I think that's what we need, don't we?
Amazing, amazing. Thanks for watching, everyone. Yeah, highlights, comments, questions, anything to do with this pop-up summit, NeuroCreative Leadership Live 2026, and